Hello and welcome. Ahmedabad Pratap Singh joining us on Newsx. As speculations into the crash in Ahmedabad of an Air India flight headed to London continue to grow, the chairwoman of the National Transportation Safety Board of the United States of America, Jennifer Homendy, has labelled media reports about the investigation as premature and speculative. These comments come amidst various reports from foreign media outlets placing the blame on the pilots of the ill-fated flights, despite the preliminary report being extremely limited in the amount of information it actually provides. Now, the NTSB chair put out a statement on social media platform X and also said that an investigation of this magnitude takes time and referred to the AAIB's public appeal to refrain from speculation and respect the deceased. However, media outlets like the Wall Street Journal are continuously breaking so-called exclusive information that alleges that the focus of the investigation has now shifted to the senior pilot. The question then remains, are these outlets driven by an agenda to protect American companies? Before we begin our conversation today, let's take a look at what the people at the Wall Street Journal actually think about the Air India crash and also about other issues, of course, pertaining to this incident. Let's quickly take you through the details, of course, of that report that the Wall Street Journal has in fact published on this incident. This is what the headline of that report is. It says that the truth about the Air India crash. Hooray for India's investigators who broke the tradition of covering up pilot error. Let's quickly go to the next slide and tell you, of course, about the author of this report as well. So it's written by Holman W. Jenkins Jr. He's a member of the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. He also writes the twice weekly Business World column that appears on the paper's op-ed page on Wednesdays and Saturdays. He joined the journal in 1992 and in fact he's been a senior journalist, as you can see, of course, the awards and the other career that he's had. This is what the report says, this article says. By now, not blaming local pilots when a first world-made jet crashes is practically a hard and fast rule for many governments. However, it's saying, of course, that this is not being done so far by the investigations. It goes on to say how India's investigators will have done a poor service to the dead pilots, flying public and victim families if further investigation finds an unexpected technical glitch in the fuel switches, which reportedly are almost impossible to turn off accidentally. It also goes ahead and says all that was left out of last week's preliminary report on the June crash of an Air India 787 was left out deliberately. It makes that claim as well. Going ahead, it says no detailed timeline of relevant action and indicators was given, no verbatim cockpit transcript instead. So these are, of course, some of those key lines in this report published by the Wall Street Journal. Instead, their seeming intention was to focus a global audience on two facts. The fuel supply switches for the plane's two engines were manually turned off about 1 second apart, just seconds after the plane left the runway. So these are, of course, some of the contents of this explosive report published by the Wall Street Journal. What are its ramifications and what also can be drawn into this latest statement coming in from a top US aviation official as well, who's trying to dismiss so far media reports as very, very premature. Group Captain UK Devnath, former Indian Air Force officer, is joining us live. Group Captain Tapesh Chaudhary, former Indian Air Force officer, is also with us live. Dr. Vandana Singh, aviation expert, joins us live. Sanjay Lazar, aviation expert, is also with us on the broadcast. Sanjay, you have now another report which has been published by the Wall Street Journal. What do you make of its contents?
Thank you for having me, Mahoday. First of all, I think the statement by the NTSB chairperson is welcomed, but too little too late, because the unfortunate pilots have already been defamed and libeled across the world. We've seen, YouTubers and press reports that have maligned them, 30-40 million views across the world, and the damage has been done. India is looking, India and the AAIB are looking like, banana republic, sadly, I have to say this. And the lack of transparency and, openness, accountability that our AAIB report should have had is not there. I had on the 14th of June said that we needed a judicial inquiry. That's a month, 2 days after the crash. I said that the day the report came out, and I still stand by it. It should be a judicial probe along, under a High Court judge, along with the AAIB. And even the AAIB preliminary report itself provides for an additional judicial probe. It's quite clear in the forward if you read it. So, I mean, it's not only Wall Street Journal. There's the Air Current by John Ostrower. There's now a Italian newspaper, and yesterday I read a shocking German report. So it's all over the world. The BBC, the Sun Times, everybody's doing it. They're taking pot shots at us, whilst either we are concealing the truth, or we are not letting the correct facts be known, and that's the hurtful part.
Yes. Also, what kind of aspersions do you believe, Sanjay, this report is trying to cast? Obviously, as you said earlier, the NTSB statement is welcome. It comes pretty late as well. However, that statement is not stopping such aspersions and speculation and reports either.
Well, the media is the media. You're from the media will do its job. The media will speculate till the cows come home. We know that. It's up to us to be responsible and not allow those speculations to go beyond a point. It's sad and tragic. And I'm glad I saw the FIP has sent a legal notice to Reuters and to some others. I'm glad they're taking a step. I do believe, and I will support, if somebody comes forth to file a public interest litigation, I'll be right up there. Whether it's pilots, whether it's passengers or anybody, the truth has to be known. And people will continue to slander until you tell the truth. The reason for these slanderous reports in all parts of the world today is because you have withheld the truth. You've been economical with the truth. Why are we not coming out with it? We should have published the transcript of the CVR. I mean, I was on another channel yesterday and I pointed out at least 15 bells and whistles and, alarms, oral and video, that visual would have been present in the cockpit, which the CVR is completely silent. I mean, they just take one line out of context. Why did you cut the fuel? No, I didn't. I mean, it's ludicrous. And this is what has led to people assuming that Captain Sumit did it and Captain Clyde was trying to control it and all this sort of speculation. If you had evidence, then bring it out on day one. Do not allow this death by 1,000 cuts. That's my clear and simple statement.
Group Captain Devnath, come in here. Of course, AIB has slammed the foreign media reportage so far on this case, but that is not deterring these fresh reports emerging. Group Captain Devnath, can you hear me? Okay, I think we're having some connection issues with him. Group Captain Chaudhary, are you there with us? If you are, then please take that. What do you make of these fresh reports emerging?
See, the Western media is behaving in a manner because it has own interest. This is the first time some NTSB or some information of such nature from the US has come out. Otherwise, in media, in US, in Western media, basically I'm telling, they have already concluded this investigation. They have already concluded that there is no technical failure in the aircraft. So it was a pilot error. Now, the उत्ता ये है कि हम कितना भी उधम मचा लें यहाँ से ना, एक बार उन्होंने बना लिया तो वेस्टर्न मीडिया को नीचे रखना बड़ा मुश्किल है हम लोगों के लिए. So this will continue. Now the problem is that the Indian news channels, at least, and Indian news agencies should behave in a responsible manner. The AIB doing its investigation as per the flight safety and international protocols. Obviously, there are certain lacunas, there are certain problems in that report also, where anybody to speculate. But why? I am surprised why everybody is speculating in a wrong manner. Why everybody trying to blame on pilots only? See, the world over, so many incidents have happened in which pilots have died. You will come to know that everybody is behind those pilots because the stakes are involved. The high stakes, high economical stakes are involved. So this, I am surprised and I am very, very welcoming this report by NTSB. They are saying don't speculate in a conditional manner or let the report come out, and then only we will be able to see the correct truth. And truth has to come out. Truth has to come out.
Okay, let me in fact also quickly ask you then about Dr. Vandana saying this particular report. Of course, what aspersions you believe the report is trying to also cast on the way the AIB has handled this investigation so far, and what the slant really is of this publication and what it's reporting.
Thank you, Uday, for having me on your show. Firstly, like I have been saying right from the beginning, and so has the honorable panel here, These kind of investigations, these kind of deadly, accidents, they take time. How can one come up with a premature report first and foremost, the preliminary report that came out? That itself was shredded with doubt. That itself led to certain theories, certain conclusions, permutation, combination, whatever you say. Then all this Western media started pouring in, all of the Wall Street Journal and certain other news channels, certain media, which has also interviewed me, saying that how is the road ahead now once what action is being taken against the pilots. So jumping to conclusions when even the 10% of investigation is not yet over, this definitely, in my view, calls for a judicial probe. Now, even in the armed forces, and there are two group captains sitting over here, we have something called court of inquiry. So when the Jaguar crashed, there is a court of inquiry, which has a legal, standing to it. In this case, what is happening now? Imagine, Uday, if our media channels or if one of our publications would have come out with something like this for an accident that had happened in the US, where would we stand right now? They would have, really sent us to the cleaners by sending us various lawsuits and defamation and all of that. And where are we standing? They are building up a narrative, they are circulating it, and they are already moving ahead that everything was all fine. It's just the pilots, and it is one pilot. Imagine the length and the level to which they are going in this much slandering, as if it's a match going on. Then the question is, where are the other stakeholders? What about the GEs? What about the Boeing? What about the Air India? What about the Honeywell? All of that. So nothing. It's just coming in this direction. I believe all stakeholders are accountable till such time we come out with the truth. And the truth takes time. If the preliminary report, they had said that, look, we will take another 15 days or another 20 days, it's incomplete, the cockpit voice recorder details have to come out, we will be putting all of that together, so we buy another 15 days, then that would have happened. I'd rather they would have waited. But now that this has come out in this format, Western media or any publication cannot come down to this level. A respectful journal like the Wall Street Journal has done something so unethical, so disrespectful, and so much painful that I can say, Uday. And now, of course, NTSB has tried to cover it up and say, okay, what has happened, we are following the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau report, but so kindly, it's all premature and it's all this and that they're saying, but the damage is done. So definitely we expect some sort of action to be taken because nothing has come out in the open as yet, and we have to get to the bottom of it. Over to you there.
Okay, let me take that back across to you, Sanjay Lazar. Also on this, on these reports, do you believe that such speculation is now only going to continue until that final report comes out? When do you believe that final report will come out? What are the timelines that we're currently looking at?
Uday, I just wanted to, take on from what Dr. Vandana said. There is only one beneficiary in all this, and I don't know if you realize, I wrote an op-ed in the Washington Strategy Review yesterday. I've tracked the share price of Boeing. It flatlined on the day of the crash at 203. Day before yesterday, when the stock market closed, it was at $230 a share. Do you know that's a $27 increase? When our AAIB gave that one line clean check to Boeing, the share jumped $27. So this is something that we all must remember. There's more than meets the eye here. We have been totally unprofessional. I'm sorry. Whatever they say, there was no 787 rated pilot. There was no pilot on that committee till a few days ago, where they've now appointed somebody from the Air Force. There was no type rated engineer on that committee. So it was a mishmash. That's one. This speculation will continue to go on, Uday. There's absolutely no reason for it to stop because speculation and stories sell newspapers. They sell news channels. So obviously it's going to, they're dancing on the graves of the dead. That's the tragedy. We have to accept that it's going to continue until you can seal their lips. And mind you, the chairperson of the NTSB is the one who has just 4 days ago called for the entire transcript. She has listened to the entire CVR, which they all have. And only after that, she's come out with a statement. So, if after listening to the entire transcript, she is now backing the AAIB and saying, let's be patient, she knows something more than you and me. And how long will it take? Well, let me tell you this, Uday. In civilian air crashes in this country, since the AAIB came into being, big normal jet, we've not seen a single final report within a year. A year is the minimum. Sometimes they take an extension and go to 16, 18 months. I mean, I remember when it was the Kanishka, it happened in 7 months. It was under, a judge of the Delhi High Court who later became the Chief Justice of India, Justice Kirtan. I remember an Airbus Indian Airlines crash, which was done in 9 months. Again, also with a sitting judge of the Delhi High Court. So there's a vast difference. And like I was on another channel. I heard Mary Shavo, who is a former director of the Department of Telecom of Transport in the US. She said this could run into thousands, if not 100,000 of pages. The final report. It could take a year or even 2 years. Are we going to live with this speculation until then? Was the AAIB, was it not incumbent on them to at least come out with, the basic transcript of those 34 seconds is not a long time. But 34 seconds was the life of this tragedy. 34 seconds is what has caused 340 million views of desecration of these two pilots and the crew. I feel really hurt and I can't express. I'm really shattered by this. And I wish we'd thought of this deeper. Maybe they were trying to cover up or hide somebody pain about something. But they should have thought of the larger implication, which we are now looking at.
Okay,
Thank
let me
you.
take that to Group Captain Devnath as well. Group Captain Devnath, now as far as, of course, this report is concerned and your view on it, do you believe it's casting aspersions on the pilots, the late pilots, or do you believe it's casting aspersions on the AIB's theory and preliminary investigation so far?
Uday, there was some kind of a requirement to release a prelim report within 30 days. Now, could AAIB have held on to release of this prelim report by a few more days, maybe 1 or 2 weeks? That is a big question. Whether any process allows that. Is the protocol so strict that 30 days time limit has to be adhered to under all circumstances? Secondly, AIB report very clearly said the switches in cockpit were found in were placed at shut-off position for a few seconds. Say 10 seconds after that, they were switched on. Now, a rider must have been included in the AIB report itself then and there, saying that it is clarified that it is not necessary that pilots shut off these fuel shut off valve. It must have been anticipated and included in that report, maybe as a footnote, or maybe in the introductory paragraph itself. Secondly, the report should have given at least a brief that there could be other reasons also because of which fuel shut-off valve gets shut off. That the record will show that it was not in run position, but the reason could have been something else other than the pilot switching it off. These few clarifications should have been added in the preliminary report. I am still wondering whether the input which marks and records this fuel shutoff valve being closed is the input taken from the switch in the cockpits I have a doubt. The input may have been taken down the line, all the way down the line up to fuel shutoff physically, where the fuel shutoff valve is located in the aircraft fuel lines. Obviously, it is located somewhere in the fuel lines which are moving from fuel tank to engine combustion chamber. So it is quite potentially possible that the pilot physically did not move the valve to fuel shut-off position, but somewhere down the line, due to some hardware or software glitch, the indication got transcribed and got printed, got recorded as fuel shut-off valve closed. What I'm trying to say that these apprehensions should have been made very clear in the prelim report, in the footnote of prelim report at the time of release. Rest, give me 1 minute. See, Uday, we cannot stop any media. I mean, I'm myself an ex-pilot. I also ejected from MiG-23. We can never stop within India or in international media, print or hardware, other electronic, from gossiping, from speculating. So expecting that media will behave in a responsible manner is difficult to do. Yes, I fully agree with other panelists that sometimes media will get manipulated by commercial interest. Media may be manipulated by masters who are sitting in this case, with the OEM. But the primary lessons learned from me also is that whenever a prelim report comes out, it should not say that this was the error. Footnote should immediately clarify
Right.
that it is not
Right.
necessary that
Okay.
that
Okay.
pilots have
Point
done.
taken. I'm afraid we've run totally out of time, so we'll have to leave it at that. My thanks to our guests for joining us.